You're not lying down. They won't let you. Your spine is held upright. Something cold pressing against your neck. A hand grips your jaw. Firm, practiced. Leather. You smell it before you feel it fully. Old leather, oil, something faintly chemical in the air. There's a light in front of you, too bright. You try to blink. You can't. A voice, calm, almost gentle. Hold still. That's when it settles in. They're not helping you. They're arranging you. In Victorian England, photography was not for the living alone. The dead were posed, positioned, made to look peaceful one last time. Families kept these images as proof, as memory. And right now, you're in that room, held in place, told not to move, told not to blink. And this is only one story. There are many more like this, hidden in history. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, you might want to stay. This is not a horror story. This is history. The moment they don't explain. You feel the pressure before you understand it. A hand under your jaw, firm, cold leather against your skin. It lifts your head just slightly, not gently, not cruelly. Practiced. You try to move. The hand tightens. Don't blink. The voice is close to your ear, calm, familiar, almost kind. That is what unsettles you the most. There is another hand now. You don't see it at first. You feel it, resting on your shoulder, holding you in place. Not supporting you, holding, as if you might fall apart without it, or try to leave. The light is wrong, too still, too focused. It burns against your eyes without flicker, without warmth. Not candlelight. Something else. Something arranged. You try to look away. Your eyes refuse, and then movement from the side. A shadow entering your vision. Slow, measured. A gloved finger coming toward your eye. You freeze. Not because you choose to, because something in you understands that you are not supposed to move. The finger stops, just short. So close you can feel the air shift. So close you think, if you blink, it will touch. Hold still. There is a smell in the room. You notice it now. Not strong, not obvious, but there. Chemicals. Something used to preserve, to clean, to prepare. Prepare what? You try to swallow. Your throat tightens. The hand under your jaw doesn't allow it. And then, the realization begins. Not all at once, not clearly, but slowly, like something surfacing through thick water. They are not helping you. They are arranging you. There is something behind your neck. You feel it now, a pressure, metal, rigid, holding you upright, keeping your head from falling forward. You are not standing, you are being held. A faint sound reaches you from somewhere behind the light. A mechanism. A soft click. A pause. Then silence. Waiting. You are aware of your breathing now. Too loud, too fast. It doesn't belong in this room. Nothing else moves. Nothing else breathes. And that is when the thought finally forms. Clear, cold, impossible to ignore. You are not supposed to be alive. The hand on your shoulder adjusts, just slightly, positioning, correcting. The finger near your eye returns, closer this time, not touching, testing, as if deciding something. In another part of the room, something shifts. Wood, cloth, a shape. You can't see it clearly, but you know it's there. Another body, dressed, still. And for a moment, you understand something else, something worse. This is not about you. This has been done before, many times, and it will be done again. There is a reason the room feels so quiet, so practiced, so certain, because nothing here is new. A voice, further away now, speaking to someone else, not to you. Light is good. A pause, then, keep him steady. Him, not you. You try to move your fingers. Nothing. You try to shift your weight. Nothing. Only your eyes, still open, still aware, still watching. And then, something else moves in the room. Something you don't understand yet. Something that does not belong to this moment. But you will. Not yet. Because first, you need to understand where you are. London, late in the century. A city that does not sleep. Not because it cannot, because it has too many dead to remember. People here fear many things. Disease, poverty, cold. But there is one fear they do not speak about openly. Not in daylight. Not in polite conversation. The fear of being mistaken. Doctors check for breath with mirrors held under the nose, waiting for fog. They check for pulse, weak, fading, sometimes gone, but not always gone enough. There are stories, quiet ones, passed between those who have seen too much. Stories of coffins that were opened too late. Stories of scratches on the inside of wood. Stories of sounds heard after burial. And those stories change things. Slowly. Carefully. Precautions appear. Bells tied to fingers. Strings leading to the surface. Waiting for movement. For proof. For hope. But hope is fragile. And sometimes it comes too late. Tonight, you are not in a grave, but you are close enough to understand why people feared them. Because the moment before death can look exactly like death itself. And in this room, that difference no longer matters. The hand under your jaw tightens again, just enough. The finger returns, closer, closer. Don't blink. And somewhere in the silence of the room, something clicks again. But the worst part is not the camera. It's what they expect from you next, and what happens if you fail. The stillness they demand. The finger doesn't touch you, not yet. It lingers there, hovering just beneath your eye, testing, waiting. The hand under your jaw shifts again, stronger this time. You feel your teeth press together, your lips part slightly, not by choice, by design. Relax the mouth. The voice is quieter now, more focused, less human. Another hand moves behind you. You hear it before you feel it. Metal. A small adjustment, a tightening. The pressure at the back of your neck increases. You cannot lean forward. You cannot fall. You are being held upright, as if you no longer belong to yourself. The light flickers once, just once, and in that brief shift, you see it. The camera. Large, wooden, still, waiting. It does not look like something meant to capture life. It looks like something built to preserve silence. A cloth hangs behind it, dark, heavy, like a curtain drawn over something that has already ended. You try to breathe slower, to steady yourself, but your body doesn't follow. Because something is wrong, not just with the room, not just with the hands, with the way they look at you. They don't watch you the way people watch the living. They watch you the way people examine something that should not move. A pause fills the room, long, measured. One of them steps closer. You hear the fabric shift, Feel the presence near your shoulder. A faint scent follows. Soap, alcohol, something used in hospitals. Eyes open, the voice says. Not a request, an instruction. The finger near your face moves again. This time, it touches you. Lightly. Just beneath the eye. Your body reacts. A reflex. A blink trying to form. The grip tightens instantly. Don't. The word lands softly, but it carries something heavier beneath it. Something practiced. Something learned. You stop. Because now you understand something else. They are not worried about hurting you. They are worried about movement, even the smallest one. The room grows quieter, as if it is waiting for you to fail. And in that silence, your thoughts begin to drift, not away, but deeper, because something about this moment feels familiar. Not to you, to the room, as if this has happened here before, many times. A faint sound echoes somewhere behind you. A drawer, sliding open. Wood against wood. Inside, something shifts. Cloth. Paper. Glass. You cannot turn your head, but your mind follows the sound. You imagine what might be there. Tools, instruments, objects that belong to a process you don't fully understand yet. And then, a memory. Not yours. A story. A man found after 3 days. Not in his bed. Not in the street. In a coffin. The doctors said his heart had stopped. His skin had cooled. His breathing had disappeared. But when they opened the lid, his hands were not still. They were clawed, pressed against the wood, as if he had tried to leave. Too late. The voice returns, closer again. Good. You don't know what you've done to deserve that word, but it chills you, because it means you are doing exactly what they expect. And what they expect is not what the living do. The hand on your shoulder adjusts again, tilting you slightly. Not forward, not back, just enough to change the angle. For the camera. You begin to understand the shape of this moment. Not fully, not yet, but enough. Enough to know that this is not about helping you. This is about capturing something. Something that must look a certain way. Still. Peaceful. Final. Even if it is not. The finger leaves your face. For a moment you feel relief, but it does not last. Because now, the room begins to move. Not quickly, not chaotically, but with purpose. The cloth behind the camera shifts, pulled slightly, adjusted. The light narrows, focused tighter. On your face. Only your face. Everything else fades into shadow, as if the rest of you no longer matters. And that is when the thought returns, stronger this time. You are not the subject. You are the result. A finished thing. A memory being created before it is true. The voice speaks again, further back now. Ready. Another pause, longer, heavier. And then something changes. Not in the room, in you. Your breathing slows, not because you control it, because something in you understands that movement has consequences here, that survival depends on stillness, and stillness is dangerously close to something else. The sound comes again, that same soft click, closer this time, and somewhere in the shadows behind the camera, something shifts. Something that does not belong to this moment. something you will only understand later. But when you do, it will explain everything. The practice of death. The room does not rush. Nothing here ever does. The light holds steady on your face, unblinking, like an eye that does not belong to a body. Your own eyes burn now, dry, heavy, but still open. You begin to understand something strange. Pain is not the problem here. Movement is. A small sound breaks the stillness. Fabric, a sleeve shifting. Someone steps into your peripheral vision. You can't turn to look, but you feel them there, close, watching. A hand appears again, not the same one. This one is bare, no glove. The skin is pale, thin, the nails clean. It moves toward your face slowly, deliberately, not threatening, not kind, careful. The fingers hover near your cheek, then touch. Cool, dry. They press lightly, testing. Good. The voice is different, older, measured. Stillness holds. You don't know what that means, but they do, and that is enough. Another sound behind you. The metal at your neck shifts again, a small adjustment, a tightening. You feel your head align, straightened, balanced. Perfect for something that is not supposed to move. The man with the bare hands steps away. You hear him speak quietly, not to you. Exposure will be long. A pause. He must not move. Must not. Not should not. Must not. Because now you understand something worse. This is not a moment. It is a duration, a test, and you are already inside it. The camera stands ready. You can feel it now, even without seeing it clearly. It is pointed at you, waiting, not for your expression, for your absence. Another drawer opens, closer this time. You hear glass, a faint clink. A bottle is lifted. Liquid moves inside, thick, slow. The smell reaches you a second later, stronger now. Chemicals, sharp, bitter. Something used to fix what should fade. A cloth is dipped. You hear it, soft, absorbing. Then footsteps, returning. The cloth touches your forehead, cold, damp. You flinch, just slightly. The grip on your jaw tightens instantly. Steady. Your breath catches. You stop, because now you know. They are watching for that. Every movement, every twitch, every sign that you are still something else. The cloth moves slowly across your skin, wiping, preparing, not cleaning you, correcting you. The way they would correct a surface, a frame, a face meant to last longer than it should. A voice speaks again, the older one. Families prefer the eyes open. A pause. It suggests peace. Peace. The word feels wrong here, because nothing in this room is peaceful. Everything is controlled, measured, final. Another voice responds, quieter, younger. And if they close? A silence follows, longer than before. Then, we assist. The word lands softly, but it carries something beneath it, something you have already felt. The finger, the almost touch, the threat of something small that changes everything. You try to swallow again. The hand under your jaw does not allow it. Your throat tightens. Your body begins to tremble. Not visibly, but inside. A tremor beneath the stillness. And that is when another thought begins to form. If stillness is what they need, then life is what you must hide. The idea settles in slowly, terribly, because it means something very simple. To survive here, you must appear dead. The camera shifts. You hear it, a small adjustment, a repositioning. It is being aligned with you. The cloth is removed from your face. The air feels colder now, sharper, more real. But the room does not change. The hands remain. The pressure remains. The expectation remains. And then, something new. A sound from the far corner, not loud, not clear, but wrong. A faint creak, like wood under strain or something shifting where it should not. No one reacts, no one looks, as if they did not hear it or chose not to. But you did, and now you cannot ignore it, because it does not belong here, not in this room, not in this moment, and yet it returns, softer this time, closer. And for a brief second, you feel something you haven't felt since this began. Hope, followed immediately by something worse. Fear, because if something else is moving in this room, then you are not the only one. And whatever it is not being prepared. It is already waiting. The ones who were not meant to move. The sound comes again, closer this time, a dry creak, wood under pressure. No one reacts, not the man behind the camera, not the hands holding you. Which means one of two things. They didn't hear it, or they've heard it before. Your eyes strain toward the darkness at the edge of the room. You cannot turn your head, but your vision pulls, searching. There, a shape. Low, covered. A table, cloth draped over it. Too carefully, too completely. Something rests beneath. You try to breathe quietly, slower, less, because now you understand, if you make a sound, you will be corrected. The hand on your jaw shifts again, a reminder. Still. The voice is softer now, almost patient, as if speaking to something fragile. The sound comes again, from beneath the cloth, a movement, small but undeniable. And this time, you are certain. It is not the wood, it is what's on it. A pause stretches through the room, long enough for doubt to try and return. But then, the cloth moves, barely, a ripple, gone as quickly as it came. Your heart stumbles. No one reacts, no one turns, no one even breathes differently. And that is when the realization cuts deeper than anything before. This is not unusual. This is not a mistake. This is part of the room, part of what happens here. The man behind the camera steps forward. You hear the floor beneath him, a measured pace. He stops near the covered table. You cannot see his face, but you feel his attention shift. A hand reaches out, lifts the cloth, just slightly. Not enough for you to see clearly, but enough. Enough to confirm. There is a face beneath it. Pale, still, but not still enough. The cloth falls back into place. The man says nothing, returns to the camera, adjusts something, as if nothing has happened, as if nothing ever does. And now, the room feels different, heavier, because now you know something they never said. You are not the first, and you are not the only one. A voice breaks the silence again, the older one. It happens. A pause. Sometimes. No explanation, no concern, just a statement. The younger voice answers, quieter, less certain. And if they move? A longer silence this time. Then, we continue. Continue. The word settles into the room like dust, because it means something simple. What happens here does not stop. Not for movement, not for doubt, not for life. Only for completion. And that is when something inside you shifts. Not fear. Something sharper. Understanding. If they will continue, no matter what, then your survival does not depend on stopping them. It depends on deceiving them. Be still. Be quiet. Be what they expect. The camera is adjusted again. You hear the mechanism align, a lens turning, a plate being set, preparation reaching its final stage. The light narrows even more. Everything outside your face fades into darkness. You are alone in it now, held, displayed, watched. The hand returns to your face, the finger again, closer, slower, testing your resolve, testing your stillness. Don't blink. You don't. Because now you know what happens if you do. Not because they told you, because the room showed you. And somewhere behind you, the covered table shifts again, softer this time, weaker, but still there, still alive, and still being ignored. The room that learned not to see. The room settles again, as if nothing moved, as if nothing ever does. The cloth over the other table lies still now, perfectly smooth, carefully arranged. You almost convince yourself it was nothing, a trick of the light, a strain of your eyes, but your body does not believe that. Your body remembers the movement, the small shift beneath the fabric, the quiet resistance, and the way no one stopped. The hand on your shoulder presses down slightly, a silent correction. You've drifted, not in position, in thought. Stay with it. The voice again, closer, as if they can feel your mind moving, as if even that is not allowed. You focus forward, on the light, on the stillness, on the act you are being forced to perform. Another adjustment behind you. The metal brace tightens, just a fraction. You feel your spine straighten, your chin lifted, your body aligned. Not naturally, deliberately. The kind of posture no one holds willingly, but one that lasts. The faint scraping sound comes from the far wall. You hear it clearly this time. Wood, dragged slightly. Something heavy being repositioned. Still, no one reacts, and that tells you more than anything else. Whatever moves here, belongs here. A new smell enters the air, faint but different. Not the sharp chemical from before, something older, damp, faintly sweet. It settles low in your throat. You try not to breathe it in, but your body has no choice. The younger voice speaks again. Careful now. Measured. Does it always take this long? A pause, then the older one answers. Sometimes longer. Another pause. They fade slowly. Fade. The word lingers, because it does not mean what it sounds like. It does not mean disappearing. It means changing from one state to another, and not always cleanly. You remember something, not a memory, a story. A man in a hospital, declared dead, left overnight. When they returned, his position had changed, only slightly, but enough for them to notice, enough for them to question, enough for them to ignore it, because questioning it would mean admitting something worse, that death is not always immediate, and that in between there is something else, something no one wants to define. The hand under your jaw loosens, just for a moment. You feel it, the smallest freedom, the possibility of movement. but it vanishes instantly. The grip returns, stronger, a warning, not spoken, but understood. You remain still, because now you are learning the rules of this place, not from instruction, from consequence. The camera is adjusted again. You hear the plate slide into position, a quiet, deliberate movement. Then, silence. Long, heavy, final. Almost, the older voice says, and something in that word settles into you. Almost what? Almost ready? Almost finished? Almost gone? You don't know, and they won't explain, because they don't need to. The process is clear to them. You are the only one left outside of it. The light shifts slightly, narrower now, sharper. It isolates your face completely. Everything else disappears. Even the hands begin to feel distant, as if you are being separated, reduced to something simpler. A face, an image, a memory before its time. A faint sound returns from behind you, softer than before. A breath. You freeze, because this one is different. Not wood, not cloth. Air, moving, barely, but real. You listen. It comes again, weak, irregular, struggling. And now you know. You are not imagining it. There is someone else here, someone who should not be, someone who is not finished fading. The younger voice hears it too this time. You can tell the slight shift in his breath, the hesitation, the almost question. But he does not speak, because the older one remains still, unmoved, unconcerned. And that is the final lesson. What moves is not always saved. What breathes is not always heard. And what is seen is not always acknowledged. The room has learned something over time, how to continue, no matter what. The hand returns to your face again, the finger, closer, slower, almost touching, testing, waiting. And now, you understand something else. They are not checking if you are alive. They are checking if you can pretend not to be. The long exposure. The room prepares for something that does not forgive movement. You feel it before they say it, a shift in their pace, a quiet tightening of everything around you. The hands become more precise, less frequent, more certain, as if the moment they've been building toward has arrived. Now. The older voice, simple, final. The camera is ready. You know this without seeing it. You feel the silence change. It becomes heavier, more deliberate, as if the air itself is waiting. The hand under your jaw steadies. The one on your shoulder presses down, locking you in place. And the third hand, the one that has been hovering near your eye, returns. Slower now. Closer. A finger rests just beneath your eyelid, not touching, but guiding, warning. Hold. The word lingers, because this is the moment that matters, not before, not after. Now. You try to slow your breathing, to make it invisible, to erase every sign of life, because you understand something terrible. The camera does not capture motion. It erases it. Long exposure. Seconds, sometimes longer. Time stretched into stillness, and anything that moves disappears. Or worse, blurs, a ghost in its own image. The mechanism clicks, a sound unlike the others, deeper, more final. The exposure has begun. You cannot move. You cannot blink. You cannot exist the way your body demands. You must become something else, something quieter, something closer to what they expect. The seconds begin to stretch. You count them without meaning to. 1, 2, 3. Your eyes burn. 4, 5. Your lungs tighten. 6, 7. The urge to blink builds, sharp, unavoidable. You fight it, because now you know if you blink, you will be corrected. And correction here does not mean comfort. The finger beneath your eye presses slightly, a reminder. You stop. Your body trembles beneath the stillness, invisible but violent, because every instinct you have is being denied. Another second passes, and then a memory surfaces. Not yours. A story. A woman in a chair, dressed for a photograph, her family beside her. Still. Too still. The photographer told them not to move, told them to hold their breath, told them to keep their eyes open. The exposure lasted longer than expected. The youngest child blinked. Once. And when the photograph was developed, her face was gone. Not entirely, just enough. Blurred, uncertain, as if she had already begun to disappear. And the mother did not like that. So they did it again. Longer this time, stricter, because the image had to be right, no matter what it cost. The seconds stretch further now. You are losing count. Your eyes feel like glass, dry, cracking, but still open, still fixed, still obeying. The hand on your shoulder tightens. The one under your jaw steadies. The third hand hovers, ready, waiting for failure. Because failure here has consequences, and you are beginning to understand what they are. Another sound breaks through the silence, faint, behind you. A breath, weaker now, shorter, struggling. It does not belong to you, and it does not belong to them. It belongs to something that is running out of time. You hold still, because now you understand something else. This is not just about capturing an image. It is about finishing something. And once it is finished, it cannot be undone. The mechanism clicks again, sharper this time. The exposure ends. The room exhales. The pressure lifts, just slightly, but not enough. Because now, they will check. And if anything is moved, they will know. The correction. The silence after the click is not relief. It is inspection. You feel it immediately. The hands don't release you. They adjust. Small movements, precise, searching. The hand under your jaw tilts your head a fraction to the left. The one on your shoulder steadies your balance. The third hand, the one that hovered near your eye, returns. Closer this time. No hesitation. A finger presses just beneath your eyelid. Testing. Waiting. You hold, because now you understand. This part matters more than the exposure. This is where they decide if you did it correctly, if you were still enough, if you can remain. The older voice moves closer. You feel his presence near your face. Good. A pause. But not perfect. Your chest tightens because you don't know what that means, and you don't know what comes next. The younger one shifts somewhere behind you. You hear uncertainty in his breath. What did he... A hand lifts slightly, silencing him. Not harsh, just enough. We correct. The word again, and now it carries weight. The finger moves upward, closer to your eye, too close. You feel the instinct rise, violent, immediate. Blink. Your body demands it. Your mind resists because you remember the other table, the movement, the breath, ignored. You do not blink. The finger presses lightly against your eyelid, not enough to close it, just enough to remind you that it can. Hold. The voice is quieter now, more focused, more dangerous. Because this is not instruction anymore. This is enforcement. The pressure on your jaw increases. Your head cannot move, your eyes cannot close. Your body is no longer yours. You are being shaped, adjusted, corrected. The older man steps back slightly. You hear him move toward the camera. A soft sound follows. Glass being removed, handled carefully. The plate, the image. Not yet seen, but already judged. Again, he says. The word lands harder than anything before, because now you know. This is not finished, and it will not end until it is right. The room resets. The light steadies, the hands reposition. Your body is placed back into the exact alignment, no variation, no error, as if you are a mechanism, not a man. The third hand withdraws for a moment. You feel the absence immediately, a space where tension lived. But it does not last, because something else replaces it. A cloth, cold, damp, pressed lightly against your face, not wiping, holding. Your breath catches, because for a moment you cannot feel the air. The cloth lifts just enough, just long enough to remind you how fragile this is, how easily it could end. The younger voice speaks again, quieter now, less certain. And if he can't? The older one interrupts. He can. No doubt, no hesitation, because to him, you are already something else, something that does not fail, something that does not resist, something that does not need to be asked. The cloth is removed. The finger returns, closer, more direct. Don't blink. You don't. Not because you are strong, because you are afraid. Because now you understand something deeper. They are not trying to make you still. They are trying to prove that you already are. And if you fail that proof, you will become it. The camera is prepared again, the plate replaced, the light adjusted, the moment rebuilt. And somewhere behind you, the breath returns. Fainter now, slower, almost gone. And no one stops. No one turns. No one listens. Because the room has already decided what matters and what does not. The cost of being seen. They do not hurry, not even now. The room resets around you with the same quiet certainty. The hands return to their positions, jaw, shoulder, neck. Each one knows exactly where to go, as if your body has already been memorized, as if you have already done this, many times. The light narrows again, brighter now, sharper. It cuts through the darkness and leaves only your face behind. Everything else disappears. The room becomes distant, muted, irrelevant. Only you remain, and the expectation. Again. The older voice, final. You feel the tension return, stronger than before, because now you know what it demands. Stillness. Not natural, not human. Absolute. The third hand returns, the finger, closer, hovering. A warning that never leaves. Hold. The mechanism clicks. The second exposure begins. Time stretches again, slower this time, heavier, because your body remembers. The burning in your eyes returns instantly, sharper, more urgent. You try to focus on something else, anything, and your mind reaches for the stories, because the room is full of them, even if no one speaks. A man in a chair, propped upright with metal rods hidden beneath his coat, his family arranged beside him. A wife holding his hand, children told to sit still, to behave, because this would be the last image, the last memory, the last proof that he had been something. But the exposure took too long, and the youngest child shifted just once. When the image was developed, her face blurred. Her body remained, but her expression was gone. And the mother did not like that. So they did it again, longer, stricter, because memory had to be perfect, even if the moment was not, even if the truth was different. The seconds stretch further now. Your eyes tremble, your breath stutters, but you do not move, because now you understand the cost, not just of movement, of being seen. To be captured, you must become what they expect, not what you are. The pressure on your jaw increases just enough. Your head tilts slightly, corrected, refined, perfected. The finger beneath your eye presses again, a reminder, a thread. You hold, because now you know. This is not about surviving the moment. It is about surviving their idea of you. Another sound breaks through the silence. Behind you. The breath. Barely there now, fading, but still present. You feel something inside you shift. Not fear. Something else. Recognition. Because whatever is behind you is losing. And no one is helping. No one is stopping. No one is even looking. Because the image matters more. The memory matters more. The appearance matters more than what is actually happening. The seconds stretch again. You are losing count, losing sense of time, losing sense of yourself, because holding still for this long changes something inside you. Something quiet, something permanent. The mechanism clicks again. The exposure ends. The pressure lifts. But not completely, because now comes the part that matters most. The result, the judgment, the decision. The older man moves toward the camera. You hear the plate being removed, handled carefully, inspected. A pause, longer than before. He says nothing, and that silence is worse than anything else, because it means something is wrong, or not yet right. The younger one shifts, waiting, uncertain, and somewhere behind you, the breath stops. Completely. No movement, no sound, no trace. Gone. And no one reacts. No one acknowledges it. Because it does not matter anymore. It has already become what they needed. The older voice finally speaks. Better. A pause. Not enough. The word settles over you like a weight, because it means one thing. This is not over. The quiet between breath and silence. Not enough. The words do not echo. They settle into the room, into the light, into you. You don't move, because now you know what enough means here. Not comfort, not safety, not survival. Stillness. Perfect. Absolute. The hands return, not rushed, not angry. Certain. The grip beneath your jaw adjusts again, slightly higher this time. The pressure on your shoulder shifts, balancing you, correcting you. Not for your sake, for the image. You feel the metal at your neck tighten. The brace holds you straighter than before. Too straight, unnatural. The kind of posture no living person would choose, but one that does not change. One that lasts. The older man moves slowly around you. You hear his steps, measured, even. He stops somewhere to your side. You can't see him, but you feel his gaze, not on your face, on your stillness. Evaluating, measuring, as if you are something already finished. The younger one speaks again, quieter now, more cautious. How do you know when it's right? A pause, then the answer. You stop seeing the difference. Silence follows, heavy, because that sentence means more than it should. It means there was a difference once. It means someone noticed it, and then learned not to. The room has trained itself to ignore what does not fit, to continue, to complete the image, no matter what. You feel your body again, not as something you control, as something you are trapped inside. Your lungs ache, your eyes burn, your muscles tremble beneath the stillness, invisible but breaking, and still you hold. Because now you understand something else. This is not just about appearing dead. It is about erasing the signs that you are not. The light narrows further. Your world shrinks. Face, light, darkness. Nothing else. The third hand returns, the finger. Closer. Hovering again beneath your eye, not touching, waiting, as if it already knows. The mechanism shifts. Another plate. Another attempt. Again. The word is softer this time, but heavier, because now it is expected. The exposure begins. No warning this time, just a click, and the long stillness returns. Your body reacts immediately. The urge to blink is stronger now, sharpened by repetition, by exhaustion, by time. You fight it, because now you know. You don't get weaker here. You get replaced, second by second. Stillness replacing motion. Silence replacing breath. Image replacing presence. Your thoughts begin to drift again. Not away, deeper, into the stories. Because the room is full of them, even now. A young boy, laid across his mother's lap, his eyes closed, his face arranged. The photographer told her not to move, not to cry, not to breathe too deeply, because it would blur the image. She held him, long enough for the exposure, long enough for the memory, long enough to forget the difference between holding him and holding what was left. The image was perfect. They said so, and that was enough. Your body trembles again, stronger now, harder to control. Your breath breaks, just slightly, a small movement in your chest, barely visible, but not invisible enough. The hand on your shoulder tightens instantly. The one beneath your jaw follows, locking you, correcting you. The finger presses closer to your eye, not touching, but ready. You stop. You force your body back into stillness because now you know they saw it and they allowed it. Once. They will not allow it again. The seconds stretch longer. Too long. Your vision begins to blur, edges softening, light spreading, and for a moment, you think you might disappear. Not physically, but in the way they want. Into the image, into the stillness, into something that no longer resists. The thought frightens you more than anything else, because it feels possible. Too possible. The click comes again, sharper, final. The exposure ends. The room returns, slowly. The pressure eases, just enough for you to feel it. The older man steps forward. The plate is removed. Silence. Long, heavy, waiting. Behind you, nothing moves anymore. No breath, no sound, no trace. Gone completely. And now, you understand something else. The room does not stop when someone stops breathing. It stops when the image is right. The older voice finally speaks. Closer. A pause. Very close. And those words are worse than failure, because they mean you are almost what they need.
What they tried to hide.
Very close. The words hang in the air longer than they should. Closer to what? You already know. Closer to stillness. Closer to silence. Closer to something that does not resist. The room feels smaller now. Not physically, but in the way it closes around you. The light narrows again. Your face is the only thing that exists. Everything else fades into shadow. Even the hands feel distant, as if they are no longer holding you, as if you are holding yourself. That thought unsettles you more than anything before, because it means the process is working. The older man moves again, slowly. He circles you, not checking your face, checking your stillness, measuring what you've become. The younger one watches. You can feel it, the hesitation, the doubt, the question he is not asking, because he already knows the answer, and he does not want to hear it spoken. A faint sound echoes from somewhere deeper in the building, not in this room, further away. A dull thud, followed by silence. You focus on it, because it is different, not controlled, not arranged, something else, something outside this room's rules. And then, another memory surfaces. A report, quietly circulated, never meant for public reading. A grave opened too soon, not by mistake, by suspicion. The man inside had been buried only hours before, too quickly, too quietly. The ground was still fresh. When they lifted the lid, they expected stillness, peace, finality. Instead, they found resistance. The inside of the coffin was marked, scratches, deep, fingernails broken, wood splintered, and the position of the body, not how it had been placed, not how it should have remained. Turned, twisted, as if something inside had refused to stay still. The report ended there. No explanation, no conclusion. Just a note. Burial may have been premature. And then, silence. Because what could they say after that? What could they admit? That death is not always certain, that stillness can lie, that the difference between alive and dead is sometimes decided by time, and sometimes by convenience. The older man returns to your side. You feel his presence close again. He studies you, not with concern, with expectation. You see? The words are not meant for you. They are meant for the younger one. For this, you must remove doubt. A pause. Completely. The younger one does not answer, because now he understands, just as you do. Doubt is not tolerated here. Uncertainty is not allowed. Everything must appear final, even if it is not. The hand beneath your jaw shifts again, higher, stronger. The one on your shoulder presses down, harder now, as if they are no longer adjusting you, as if they are holding you in place against something. The third hand returns, closer than ever before. The finger almost touches your eye, so close you can feel the warmth, the presence, the decision. Don't blink. You don't. Not because you are strong, because you are afraid of what comes next. The camera is adjusted one final time, the plate prepared, the moment set, everything aligned. And then the older man pauses. Something has caught his attention. Not you, not the camera. Something else. A faint sound behind you. Not breath, not movement. Something heavier, slower. A shift of weight. You feel it through the floor, through the chair, through the metal brace at your neck. The room goes still. Completely still. For the first time since this began, everything stops. The older man listens. The younger one holds his breath. The hands remain, but they do not move. And in that silence, you understand something that has been building this entire time. This room is not in control. It only pretends to be, because there are things it cannot stop. Things it cannot arrange, things it cannot correct. And whatever just moved is one of them. The return to the moment. The sound comes again, closer now, not imagined, not distant. Here. The floor beneath you shifts, just slightly, enough to feel it through the chair, through the metal brace, through your spine. The room freezes, not in stillness, in uncertainty. For the first time since this began, they do not know what to do. The older man does not speak. The younger one does not move. The hands remain on you, but their grip changes, less certain, more aware, listening, because now they hear it too. A movement that does not belong to them, a sound that was never part of the process. The creak again, wood under pressure. Then a faint dragging shift from below. Not the table, not the walls, the floor. Your breath stops because something inside you connects it instantly. The stories, the reports, the things they tried not to say. Something moves where nothing should. The older man steps back, slowly, carefully, as if distance might make it disappear. It doesn't. The sound grows clearer, a dull, hollow knock from beneath the floorboards. Once, then silence. No one speaks, because there is nothing to say. And then it happens again, a second knock, weaker, slower, but real. The younger one finally breaks. What is that? The question hangs in the air, unanswered, because the older man already knows, and he does not want to say it. Your mind returns to the beginning, to the first moment, the pressure under your jaw, the finger near your eye, the instruction, don't blink. And the feeling that something else was wrong, not just with you, with the room. Now you understand. This has happened before. Not in this exact moment, but close enough. Close enough that they learned how to ignore it. The older man finally speaks, quiet, controlled. Stay focused. Not on the sound, on the image, on you. Because even now, even with something moving beneath the floor, the process does not stop. The hands return to their grip, stronger now, not just holding you against the moment, against the interruption, against the truth trying to surface. The third hand moves again, the finger near your eye, closer, more urgent. Don't blink. The words again, but now they mean something else, not just instruction, protection. Because if you move, if you react, if you acknowledge what is happening, then everything breaks. The illusion, the process, the certainty. The knock comes again, louder this time, from directly beneath you. Your entire body feels it. a hollow impact, something striking from below, trying to reach up, trying to be heard. Your mind races because now you see it clearly. The building, the room, the floor, and what lies beneath it. Storage, temporary holding, bodies waiting, not yet buried, not yet forgotten, and sometimes not yet gone. The younger one steps back. You hear it. Fear now, real. What if? He doesn't finish because he doesn't need to. The older man interrupts, sharp this time. It is nothing. But his voice is different now, less certain, less practiced, because even he knows it is not nothing. The knock comes again, slower now, weaker, fading, but still there, still trying, still refusing to become what they expect. And that is when it fully settles in. The moment from the beginning, the thing that felt wrong, the thing you could not name. Now you can. This room does not create stillness. It enforces it. And sometimes, it enforces it too soon. The older man steps forward again, closer to you, as if proximity will restore control, as if finishing the image will silence everything else. Prepare. The word lands hard, final, because now they are not just capturing a moment. They are trying to finish it, the image that remains. Prepare. The word does not belong to you. It belongs to the room, to the hands, to the light, to the camera waiting in front of you, and now to what moves beneath you. The knock does not come again. That is the worst part, not the sound, the silence after it. Because silence here does not mean nothing is happening. It means something has stopped trying. The younger man steps back further. You hear it in his breath, uneven now, uncertain. What if it? He doesn't finish. The older man doesn't let him. We finish. No hesitation, no pause, because whatever was beneath the floor does not matter, not anymore. The hands return to you, stronger now, not correcting, fixing, final. The grip under your jaw tightens until your teeth press together. The hand on your shoulder locks you down. The brace behind your neck holds you upright, and the third hand, the one that has waited this entire time, moves to your eye. No longer hovering, no longer testing, deciding. Don't blink. You don't, because now you understand something deeper than fear. If you blink, you will be corrected. And correction here does not mean adjustment. It means completion. The camera is ready, the plate set, the light focused, everything aligned. The older man steps behind the lens. You cannot see him now, only the dark shape of the camera, waiting, watching. And in that final moment, your mind moves, not away, down, through the floor, to the space beneath this room, to where the sound came from, to where something was trying to be heard, trying to move, trying to prove it was not finished. And now, silent, gone. Because the room did not stop, because the process did not wait, because the image mattered more. The mechanism shifts, a deeper click. Final. The last exposure begins. You hold, not because you can, because there is nothing else left to do. Your body trembles beneath the stillness. Your lungs burn. Your eyes scream to close. But you do not move. You cannot. Because now you understand the final truth. They are not waiting for you to die. They are waiting for you to stop being seen as alive. The seconds stretch. longer than before, longer than anything, until time itself feels like something that is stopped. And in that stillness, something changes. Not in the room, in you. The fear fades, not completely, but enough. Enough for something else to take its place. Clarity. Because now you see it. What this room really is. Not a place of death. A place of decision, where the difference between living and dead is no longer biological. It is visual. And once the image is made, that decision becomes permanent. The click comes, sharp, final. The exposure ends. The room exhales. The pressure lifts. The hands loosen. Just slightly. Not enough for you to move, but enough for them to step back. The older man emerges from behind the camera. He removes the plate, carefully, as if holding something fragile, something valuable, something that matters more than anything else in the room. He looks at it. Silence. Long. Heavy. Then, perfect. The word settles over everything. The younger man does not speak because now he understands too. Whatever doubts he had no longer matter because the image is right. And that is all that matters here. The older man turns slightly. Prepare the next. The words are quiet, routine, as if nothing unusual has happened, as if the sound beneath the floor never existed, as if you were never anything else. The hands return, not urgently, not carefully, just as expected. And for a moment, you feel something shift inside you. Not movement, something quieter, something that does not belong to the body. A realization. You are still here, still aware, still seeing, but no longer being seen that way, because the image has decided. And in this room, the image is the truth. The light dims. The camera is reset. The process begins again. And somewhere beneath the floor, the silence remains, unbroken, unacknowledged. And long after the room empties, after the plates are stored, after the images are given to families who believe they are looking at peace, something remains. Not in the photograph, not in the memory, but in the space between them. A moment that did not belong to death, a moment that was never meant to be captured. And yet, it was. This is not a horror story. This is history, and there are many more like it.